Helen for a unique contribution to the theater this year.
Thank you.
Tell me about it. Show me it. Okay. I'll say when.
Very, very much, Helen. And thank you. Thank everyone for helping me. This is quite an occasion. I'm very grateful to everyone. I thank you again. Thank you very, very much, Helen, and I want to thank everyone who helped me at the Palace Theater. It's such an honor to receive this award. It's very pretty, too. And so I'll just leave by saying thank you very, very much for this award. Helen Darling, thank you. And I want to thank the American Theater Wing and everyone involved. I'm very grateful, very happy. Good night.
The nominees for Best Performance by a Leading Actor in a Play are Philip Bosco, You Never Can Tell; James Earl Jones, Fences; Richard Kiley, All My Sons; Alan Rickman, Les Liaisons Dangereuses; and the winner is James Earl Jones.
I'm not going to pay you off, Hume. I have a list here. I want to express my thanks and appreciation to my producer, Mrs. Carol Schoenstein Hayes, to my playwright, Mr. August Wilson, and my director, Dean Lloyd Richards of Yale Rep, for their patience and for their passion. My fellow actors, Mary Alice, Courtney Vance, Frankie Faison, Ray Arana, Charlie Brown, and Karima Miller, for the thrill of their company on stage. To all the people backstage, including Officer Barnes of NYPD, for making our working days productive and pleasant. To my wife, Cecilia, for her challenging questions and her patient listening, to my son Flynn for accepting that Papa goes to the play to work. My agent Lucy Kroll, who has made it all worth my while, the American Theater Wing, for my first 2 years of training, and to my incomparable fellow nominees for their brotherhood. Thank you very much.
When I started in the theater, all I could think about was getting a job. And once I got the job, I started hoping for a couple of lines, maybe my own song. And then I started wondering how my name might look above the title. And while I was at it, what about a nomination? And while I was dreaming, I thought, why not go all the way?
And sometimes it happens. You won.
So did you.
And I took that statue home and I stared at it and I waited to feel different. And I waited. And I was still looking at it when I fell asleep. And the next day, I woke up and I headed back to the theater and back to the audience, which is why we do this in the first place.
I agree. The nominees for the best performance by a leading actress in a musical are Allison Fraser, Romance, Romance. Joanna Gleason, Into the Woods. Judy Kuhn, Chess. And Patti LuPone, Anything Goes.
And the winner is Joanna Gleason!
My friends who have been through this before all said to me, whatever you do when they read the name, don't stand up because you're going to think you hear your name. I am overwhelmed. I have been given this by one of the great gifts to our production, Bernadette Peters. I want to thank her. We have the most spectacular cast, and what's been overwhelming is the love and affection I feel there every night, which you feel from all of us. It's genuine. They're a bunch of trapeze artists, and they fly through the air, and they catch each other, and they're the best, and first and foremost among them is Chip Zien, without whom I cannot take the journey every night. And we have a thrilling crew, and wardrobe and hair department that makes everything work. And our thanks to the producers, and it's about parents and children, largely, and I have the best of both, and I want to thank my husband, Michael, for everything, and my son, Aaron, about whom this play is for me in so many ways every night. I am completely undone, but I have to say to Paul Gemignani in the pit, who watches me like a hawk, and a good thing, too, and to James and Stephen, who for the past 2 years have treated me really like a collaborator on this project. And though you think I've felt like a baker's wife, I've really felt for 2 years like Cinderella at the ball. Thank you for the slipper.
And the Tony goes to Anna D. Shapiro, August Osage County.
Anna D. Shapiro takes home her first Tony Award in her directorial debut on Broadway.
This is amazing. I'm pretty sure that the only way that you get to have a life in the theater is if somewhere in your life you come upon a group of people who, although they don't need to, make room for you. And if you're incredibly lucky, that group of people is the Steppenwolf Theater Company in Chicago. And then, if you're really followed by a star, Tracy Letts hands you August Osage County and says, "Wanna?" And then heaven opens up and you get the greatest cast you will ever work with in your entire life. I would just like to thank my parents who blazed this path for me, never made me feel like there was anything trivial about this job. Mom, I so wish that you had Dad to share this with tonight. And I would really like to thank my 6 nieces and nephews who mercifully just think of me as Aunt Anna and don't care about any of this. They just don't. They just wanted tickets to Little Mermaid. And I got them. And lastly, to Jan, who keeps the best spot in the world clear for me, and that is the one right next to him. Thank you so much.
Torch Song Trilogy by Harvey Fierstein is a devastatingly comic play about love and the merciless mayhem love wreaks. And the winner is Torch Song Trilogy.
Everyone was so scared I was going to say something very embarrassing to you all. I mean, Mel Gussow prayed that I would win the Tony just so I could say something embarrassing. I can't. We started in the basement of La Mama with one-act plays. The Glines are the only theater in America that would put this show on. They mortgaged an Oriental rug in their living room to do it. We opened for an 8-week limited engagement, could not give a ticket away for 3 weeks. Here we are tonight. Oh my God, it's ringing. Good night.
Okay, the nominees for Best Performance by a Featured Actress in a Musical are Beth Fowler for The Boy from Oz, Isabel Keating, The Boy from Oz, Anika Noni Rose, Caroline Will Change, Jennifer Westerfeld, Wonderful Town. And Karen Zumba, Never Gonna Dance.
Having won this award last year, I feel like Miss America about to relinquish her crown. The 2004 Tony Award goes to Anika Noni Rose. Caroline Will Change.
A rose by any other name would still smell as sweet, and this one certainly does. In her Broadway debut, Anika Noni Rose wins the Tony for her portrayal of the rebellious Emmy Thibodeau.
Thank you. Chandra Wilson told me to write a speech. I didn't do it. My middle name, Noni, means gift of God. And I just want to thank God so much for the gift that I have been given. My voice, this cast of this amazing, amazing show, this opportunity to be here today, the fact that my grandmother is here for me and with me, and my brother is sitting there next to me, and I'm so thankful for all of that. Thank you. There's so many people. I would like to thank ACT in San Francisco. I would like to thank our creatives, the trio of geniuses, George, Tony, and Janine, for this amazing opportunity, for what you wrote for me. Thank you so much. I'd like to breathe. I'd like to do that. Okay, I would like to thank my Davids, David Robinson in San Francisco, David Williams, my agent, Don Buchwald, for allowing me to do this workshop for 3 years and not getting paid for it. Thank you so much. For my cast, for everyone. God bless and thank you. I love you so much. Thank you.
The winner is...
And the winner is...
And the winner is...
And the Tony Award goes to...
And the 50th anniversary Tony Award for Best New Musical goes to...
And the lucky possum who will accept this personally warm Tony Award...
And the Tony goes to...
And the American Theatre Wing's Tony Award goes to...
And the Tony goes to... Give my regards to Broadway. Remember me to Herald Square. Tell all the gang and 42nd Street that
Hey everybody! Good evening! My name is Chris Vergara, and I want to thank you all so much for joining me tonight for Give My Regards, a Tony celebration. All right, before we begin, I would like to acknowledge that whether in person in a theater or virtually online like now, we are gathering on land that is not ours. I express deep gratitude to the original caretakers of Takaranto, including the Anishinaabe, Wendat, Haudenosaunee, and the Mississaugas of the Credit. As a first-generation immigrant, I am thankful to my own ancestors as well as all Indigenous caretakers, named and unnamed, recorded and unrecorded, who have brought us here tonight. All right, so for anyone who knows me, it is common knowledge that I am a Broadway and musical theater nerd to the extreme, which is why when CBS announced that they would be airing Grease in place of the canceled Tony Awards, as opposed to, like, I don't know, any kind of tribute to live musical theater, well, I jumped at the chance to share my love online and reflect on the past Tonys. Now, as the weeks have passed, the dynamic of the world has shifted, and our friends in the Black community have rightfully raised their voices in response to the continued violent racial injustice and failure in the police force. As a person of color, I have always stood in solidarity, and I want to make my live stream something more, which is why I am honored to have turned tonight's event into a fundraiser for Black Lives Matter with the help of We Are Here Productions. We Are Here's mandate of turning art into tangible aid for those in need worldwide is a cause that I have been involved with personally before when I starred in their production of Heathers, which raised $6,000 for CAMH. Last night, they presented Speak Out Louise, a pub trivia benefit for Black Lives Matter, organized and hosted by Robert Wilkinson. Hey, Robert. And we have partnered so that I can continue their fundraiser all throughout tonight. Now, during the evening, you can donate via PayPal or e-transfer to wearehereproductions@gmail.com. And 100% of what we raise goes to Black Lives Matter. Now, a $10 donation is suggested, but you can give as much as you want. Check out their website at wearehereproductions.com for more info. Please give what you can, contribute, and remember, all lives don't matter until Black Lives Matter. Okay, time for the fun. Now, we can't start a Tony night without an opening number. The Tonys have had tons of incredible openers in the past, usually linked with favorite returning hosts, Rosie O'Donnell with her medleys and all of her divas, Neil Patrick Harris with his bigger, gayer production numbers. But I decided to choose a number from Hugh Jackman's tenure as host during the 2000s, from an especially exciting and competitive year. Now, this number is fantastic. It has great production work, great camera, great sound, which I know a lot of recent numbers have had bad sound issues, but not this one. It's a perfect build to a great finale, and it showcases a lot of the shows that were nominated that year. So here is Hugh Jackman taking on some dream girls in the opening from the 2004 Tony Awards.
Our heart and souls right on the line. Hello, Mom, how you doing? I have no doubt that we could love you forever. The only trouble is you really don't have that time. One night, we got one night, we got one night, we only got one night. One night only, that's all I have to say. One night only, that's all we can do. Love me for one night only. not, this isn't the Oscars, it's the Tonys, saluting the best of Broadway, which this year included everything from Flying Witches to Falstaff, cultural icons from Sean Combs to Gold of My Year, from Judy Garland to The Wizard of Oz to puppets with personal problems, from Boy George to Fight George. Look at these girls. My very own Jackettes. Ladies and gentlemen, the Dynamites from Hairspray. The Urchins from Little Shop of Horrors. And the radio from Caroline or Change. And to all the nominees, no matter what happens tonight, this is a celebration, because whether you win or lose, in the morning this feeling will be gone. It has no chance going on. Something so right has got no chance to leave. So let's forget about chances. This is one night I will. This is Radio City Music Hall. Bring on the Rockets! One night only. One night only. That's all I have to say. One night only. There's nothing to fear. Nothing but one night. One night only. One night only. Come on, baby, come on, baby, come on, baby, come on. One night only. We only have till dawn. We only have till Everyone has their own special dream, and your dream's just about to come true. Life's not as bad as it may seem if you open your eyes to what's in front of you. One night only, one night only. Come on, baby, come on. One night only, we only have till dawn. One night only, one night only. There's nothing more to say. One night only, we're dead in the way. Come on, oh, one night only. Come on, one night only. Come on, one night only. One night.
How epic was that? All right, if anyone is interested in how incredible that year was, that was 2004 on Broadway, I highly recommend you watch Show Business, which is a documentary that covers that Broadway season and how competitive it was. It's an incredible insight in the Broadway New York scene. All right, now we're going to get into the actual performances of tonight. Now, before we begin, I want to remind everyone that this is not an exhaustive list. It's just a small snippet of my favorites because my first list had like over 30 of them, and we can't be here for the next 4 hours. I mean, I would love to, but we got things to do after this. So we do all love our classics. I mean, yes, I love Ragtime's performance. I love Dreamgirl's performance. I love Sideshow's performance. They're all great, but I also want to extend tonight to showcase older, lesser known gems and also emphasize the diversity in the past musical theater Broadway history. But feel free to comment throughout the night about your favorite Tony performances, and we can touch base throughout there. But now, our first performance is from Jelly's Last Jam, which was Best Musical nominee in 1992. Now, Jelly's Last Jam is about the life and career of Ferdinand Joseph Lamont, aka Jelly Roll Morton, who helped introduce jazz to the American public in the early 20th century. Now, it is a perfect showcase of the lead played by Gregory Hines, the incredible Gregory Hines. And in this number, you can see that he has an incredible singing voice. He has incredible tap skills, as everybody knows, and he just has oozes just natural charm and charisma. And it's a great build in this number, just from a solo where he plays the piano, building up to a huge song and dance at the end. So please enjoy Gregory Hines and company doing That's How You Jazz from Jelly's Last Jam.
Folks call me Sweet Papa Jelly Roll, finest piano man ever lived.
Yeah, well, folks around here call me Foot in Your Ass Sam. Now, you don't live up to your name title. I'm gonna have to live up to mine.
I'll show you how to play like folks down New Orleans way. show you the stylish fingers they have.
How you do that? How you do that?
Ooh, what a noise they make. Stomp till the windows shake. Folks mixing, come on and get your licks in. Ooh, 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 that's how you jazz. Now, in order to get going what I like to call Sweet Papa Jelly's jazz, I need a low-down foundation. Help me out. Oh, that's it.
He got it.
Put in your ass. Lovely. Can I get some syncopation? That's it. How about some bluesy bass? Y'all can leave the melody to me. Tank Buzzy, Golden Blues, some Creole curly and some street red razzmatazz. Just like it on the song, and then you hit it with a come on, let's dance.
Look at me on the list! That's how you go ahead, Jelly Roll! Jelly Roll? Oh, yes, sir!
jazz. That's it.
Jazz! Ow! Jazz!
Dig it. That's it.
Oh, an incredible performance, a ridiculous tap, and Gregory Hines actually choreographed the tap for this show, and he was nominated for a Tony for that. He did win the Tony for playing that lead after being nominated 3 previous times, so it was very well deserved. All right, our next performance comes from The Wild Party, which was nominated for Best Musical in 2000. Set during the Roaring 20s, it is about the show business couple Queenie and Burr throwing a boozy, drug, and sex-filled party with a wild array of theater folk. Sound familiar? I mean, you know. Anyways, all right. So the score is by Michael John LaShuisa, and it actually came out during the same Broadway theater season as another show, another musical based on the same story and with the same name, but it was off-Broadway. That score is written by Andrew Lippa. Now, a lot of people love Andrew Lippa's version, but I really like Michael's version. I really like that it has an authentic jazz sound, and I really like that it explores a lot of the minor characters in the original story, whereas Lippa's focuses on the main love triangle. Now, the cast of The Wild Party on Broadway featured Toni Collette in her Broadway debut as Queenie, and Mandy Patinkin as her lover Burr, as well as Eartha Kitt playing the fading star Dolores, who absolutely steals the show in this performance. Little known fact, Queenie was originally supposed to be played by Vanessa Williams, but she got pregnant and she couldn't do the show. Now, I think it'd be really interesting if in the future they explored having a Black Queenie, which is actually something that Musical Stage Company did a couple years ago during their staging. But in this number, it's a great medley that features these three main characters, and especially, like I said, a fantastic showcase for Eartha Kitt at the end. So here is the cast of The Wild Party.
Queenie was a blonde and her age stood still, and she danced twice a day in the vaudeville.
How's about a wild party tonight?
Tonight. Put out the news, we got a high party. Put out the word and go and order the ice. We sure could use a little fun. Lover, when was the last time I wore my new backless? When was the last time you smiled? When was the last time we had a real party? Wet and wicked, fast time fun and wild.
I think we're due to have a big party. If baby wants to get a huge shebang, you know that I'm off for a wild party. We're round up all the old gang.
Maybe some new blood will turn up to play. Bob!
You can always use new skin.
I could always use someone fresh and tan and thin.
We're at a gym.
You win.
Me.
Welcome to my party. Glad you stumbled in. Welcome to my party. Baby, where's the ice? Who here's up for dancing? Who here's new? Welcome to my party. Who the hell invited you? You're here because you love me. Don't I know it? Yeah, I know. You're here because you love me. And cause the booze is cheap and the lowdown's low. Wanna get cream. Wanna get you. Wanna get wild.
So, you think the party's gonna last forever, and you'll always fly this high, but that depends. The higher the high, the harder you're gonna crash back down when it ends. Beauty won't matter, and brains won't matter when the world falls apart one cold and starving night. Money won't matter, and love won't matter if you ain't got the balls to fight that one last fight. I can tell you there's no party lasts forever. I've been there and there and there and seen enough. So you better hope to Jesus or Mohammed or whatever that you've got the right.
so good and a very effective medley. Sometimes when people do Tony performances, they do medleys and they don't work out, but this is a great showcase of those 3 leads that were nominated. Toni Collette, she can sing. That's right, Aaron Wolf, she can sing. Mandy Patinkin being 100% committed as always, but Eartha Kitt at the end, giving that 11 o'clock number, shooting it to the rafters, incredible performance. All right, moving right along, we are going to Grand Hotel, which was nominated for Best Musical in 1990. Now, based on a 1929 novel by Vicky Baum and its subsequent 1932 film adaptation, it follows the intersecting lives of a series of guests over a weekend in a hotel in Berlin in the 1920s. It is also the first American musical since Big River in 1985 to top 1,000 performances on Broadway. Now, this Tony performance features an incredible performance by Michael Jeter, who won the Tony for this role. And his winning was actually kind of capping this success story after him being diagnosed with HIV and also him beating alcoholism. So him winning this award was incredible. And it follows him, and there's also David Carroll in this number as the Baron. And they're both, and the company are enacting Tommy Tune's incredible Tony Award-winning choreography in this number. It's a great showstopper and a fantastic, uplifting performance. So here is We'll Take a Glass Together from Grand Hotel.
We'll take a glass together in celebration of our meeting, in celebration of our being face to face, friendly, civilized, members of the race. I'll drink to you. No, I to you. You'll drink to me. Then you to me. I'm sure we do. Oh, I know we do. Could find no finer company. Thank you, Baron. We'll take a glass together, and we will lift it to the good life. And as we're lifting it, we will most sincerely say, Prosit! Your health, sir. Salute! And skål! Nostrovia! A vostra sante! For one brief moment in this cold and careless day, we'll take a glass together. Drink to you. No, I to you. Then vice versa. Then vice versa. I'm sure it's true. Oh, I know it's true. Things may be bad, but could be worse. Absolutely. We'll ask no why or whether. We'll spend each moment. Yes, we will. As it moves us. And it moves us. Come, my comrade. Comrade. Nip the nectar of the day. Sweet nectar. Sherry. Campari. Scotch whiskey. Our fruits. A cognac. And absent frappe. For one more moment in a world gone cold and crass, we'll take a glass together. We'll take a glass together, and we will lift it to the good life. And as we're lifting it, we will most sincerely say, Prosit, your health, sir.
What an incredible performance. Again, Michael Jeter, as Otto, incredible. You might recognize him from The Green Mile, or as Michelle just said to me now, he was in Sister Act 2. He was one of the monks. How amazing is that? Now, I did want to throw back a little bit to Robert's comment earlier. about George C. Wolfe, who wrote the book for The Wild Party, and that is correct. He does have 24 Tony nominations. Incredible work as a writer, as a director. He's also an actor. Fun tidbit, if you remember in The Devil Wears Prada, he's actually one of the members of the board that Miranda is talking with during their meeting about what they're doing for the next issue. So he is a well-rounded individual. All right, moving right along. Now, when I was planning this night, I also wanted to reach out to some of my friends about what their favorite Tonys performances were. So throughout the night, I'll have some special guests. First up, one of my closest friends since moving to the city, a fierce performer, fierce dancer, and a fierce human being. Please welcome Michelle Schuster. Hey!
Hi!
Hello, hello. How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
You look fantastic.
Oh, thank you. Just, I washed my hair.
Amazing. All right, so we're here to talk about Tony performances.
The first Tony Awards that I can remember seeing was 97.
Ooh.
It was Rosie O'Donnell hosting, and the opening piece was she sang a little ditty of On Broadway, but out came Rent and then Cats.
Ooh.
And then Smokey Joe's, and then Bring Into Noise, Bring Into Funk.
That was a good year.
It's real good. Then it comes into, you do a little bit of Grease, which Grease.
Yeah, of course.
And then Beauty and the Beast. I remember as a kid watching it and being like, whoa, like everybody can be on Broadway.
Absolutely.
And that year, Annie was on Broadway as one of the nominees. And I remember being like, oh, even children, redhead children can be on Broadway. And I just remember that very, very clearly and being obsessed with Bring It Noise, Bring It Funk. That was the year The Life was nominated.
Mm-hmm.
And you had Steel Pier. It just had some really interesting shows that were doing something different.
Yeah.
And the 90s was kind of the start of trying to bring differences together, I think.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, that was a fantastic year. So when I asked you what your favorite Tony performance was, you had an answer right away.
The one I go back and I probably watch, I'd say at least 4 to 5 times a year, and that is Turkey Lurkey Time.
Oh, classic. Promises, Promises.
But it's about that trio of women
Mm-hmm.
just dancing so hard that I had to go to the chiropractor after watching.
Absolutely. I've watched it so many times. We watch it every Thanksgiving when we have our Thanksgiving dinners together. And it's
a couple glasses of wine and I'll do it too.
And I think what I like about it is there's a style of choreography and the freedom in dancing during that era.
Yeah, that's kind of exactly it. And what's so funny about that number, for people who don't know, is when it originally was doing its out of town tryouts, it didn't get applause because it was Donna McKechnie, but it wasn't the other two girls. It was just 2 random ensemble members. And the idea was that the audience was supposed to believe that these 3 secretaries had made up this dance as we're going to do a bit. So they all danced on, they had put 3 desks together and they did this dance and it barely got an applause.
Mm-hmm.
End of Act 1, boo. Michael Bennett and his assistant, Bob Avian, went back to the hotel and were like, give us an hour and we're going to finish this number. So they go back, they redo it completely. And that's the number that we all now know and love. And he said that for him, it mattered that he wanted to ramp it up. It wasn't entertaining to see a real person try to dance. He wanted to elevate it and bring it something new. Well, I think it stands out for me. They're just insane. The neck gank, as I call it, just so ferocious. But it's that each one of them is willing, they're allowed to be who they are. They bring in their own kind of emphasis to it. I'm also a big sucker for a Burt Bacharach moment.
Mm-hmm.
This is the last thing he did for Broadway, and so I feel that really is important. And what's really interesting is I found after doing my research years ago was everyone thinks it's Margot Sappington, but it's not. She's not the third one. In the Tony performance, it was Julaine Stitz. Julaine ended up replacing Donna for a bit after Donna left the show. So she was one of the only women who actually played all 3 parts at some point.
Wow. Talk about the range.
I know. I'm think about your neck. Woo!
I know. Oh my gosh. And the stories of all those dancers hurting themselves after that. But
this is Donna McKechnie watching. There's a video where she's watching it and she's like, we all went to a chiropractor at least 1 to 2 times a week. And the interviewer's just like, I'm like, as a dancer who maybe whips it maybe a little too hard, and I've been told not to pop the head, Cassie, it's just like, that's like the ideal. You're so in the dance, you just whip it, you go for it, and I feel like this is the perfect amalgamation of that. And at this award show, they talk about how the band started playing it a little bit quicker than they were used to, and the floor was so slippery that they started so fast in comparison to how it's supposed to be played. And those three girls, you could see there's one moment where it's being maybe the second camera, it's on the side, and the three of them are all like kind of big-eyed looking at each other, like, how are we getting through this? And they magically just like made it happen perfectly, which kind of speaks to like how wonderful the trio they were together.
All right, thank you so much, Michelle, for joining me.
Of course.
Everybody, please enjoy the original Broadway company of Promises Promises doing Turkey Lurkey.
Yeah.
Yay.
Meanwhile, Insurance Company, the 19th floor, is getting ready for its annual Christmas party, headed by this year's entertainment committee. Miss Polanski of Accounts Receivable. Miss Wong of Mimeograph. And Miss De La Hoya of Petty Cash.
Bells, jingle bells. Sorry, I got caught up. I couldn't keep up. It's wild. Turkey Lurkey time, quintessential, show-stopping, amazing number. All right, moving right along. I'm going to be moving next with another Best Musical nominee. This time in 1992, it is Falsettos. Now, Falsettos is a musical with a score by William Finn, and it originally started off as 2 one-acts, March of the Falsettos and Falsetto Land, both premiering off-Broadway, which were parts 2 and 3 of a 3-act following the same characters. All right, all the stories are about Marvin and his attempt to keep hold of his son and his tight-knit family after leaving his wife for his male lover. And the story explores gay life and Jewish identity and the specter of AIDS during the 70s and into the 80s. Now, I got to see a tour of the revival in Chicago, and it was absolutely amazing. A moving story, a very quintessential gay piece of musical theater work. And the original cast was absolutely stacked, including Chip Zien, who was the original baker in Into the Woods, Barbara Walsh, Jonathan Kaplan, Michael Rubert, who you might know as Callahan in Legally Blonde, also Heather McRae, and Carolee Carmello, the incredible Carolee Carmello. So here is the original cast of Falsettos performing at the Tony Awards.
Screwy families, father with children, one bar mitzvah that is scrupulously planned. Lovers come and lovers go, lovers fight and sing fortissimo, give these handsome boys a hand. Welcome to Falsetto Land.
Spiky families, women internists, kosher caterers who are trying to expand.
Everybody on the park,
Congregate in Central Park.
pretty boys are in demand. Welcome to Falsetto Land.
My father's a homo, my mother's not thrilled at all. Father homo, what about chromosomes? Do they carry? Will they carry? Who's the homo now? My father said that one day I'll grow up to be president, and that idea's not so wild. I don't lead the life of a normal child. 'Cause I'm too smart for my own good, and I'm too good for my sorry little life.
We're sitting and watching Jason play baseball. We're watching Jason play baseball. We're watching Jewish boys who cannot play baseball, play baseball. We're watching Jewish boys who cannot play baseball, play.
I hate baseball, I really do. Unlike the rest of you, I hate baseball.
We really wish he'd take this more seriously.
I like how he swings the bat.
Yeah, it's good how he swings the bat. But why does he have to throw like that?
We're sitting and watching Jason make errors, the most pathetical errors. We're watching Jewish boys who almost read Latin. Up, bat, and bat and bat. Remember Sandy Koufax, you can do it if you wanna do it. They are from Hank Greenberg. Come on, it's not genetic. Anything can be copacetic. What? I think it can.
What is he doing here?
What are you doing here? Jason asked me to come. Since he asked me to come, I came.
Just what I wanted at a Little League game. My ex-husband's ex-lover. Isn't that what every mother dreams about, having at a Little League game?
Wizard. Sit in front of me. I want to see the ball spot. Come on. Move in front of me. It gives me pleasure to see the ball spot.
We're sitting and watch the kid as he misses. We're watching Marvin throw kisses.
We're watching 67-pounders, watching Jewish boys, this rounders, watching boys skilled, boys that, boys this, boys that, watching Jason on deck, swinging the bat. Jason!
Oh, hi, Wizard.
Keep your head in the box. Don't think of a thing. Keep your head in the box. Your eye on the ball. Take a breath and let it out and swing. Keep your head in the box. Eye on the ball. Take a breath and let it out and swing. Go get him. We're sitting and watching Jason the batter. We know our cheering will matter. It is a very vital inning, and the other team is winning. And there's 2 outs, 2 strikes, but the bases are loaded.
Would it be possible to see you, or to kiss you, or to give you a call?
Oh, such a good performance, and also very heartening to see all those up-and-coming performers so youthful and in their prime, but still killing it just as they're killing it now. Amazing. All right, moving right along. My next clip comes from 1994, which was the year that saw the most recent Broadway revival of one of the most classic American musical theater works, Showboat by Rodgers and Hammerstein. Now, the show was about the performers and workers facing racial prejudice and enduring love on the Cotton Blossom, a Mississippi River showboat. Now, interesting fact, this particular revival actually started previews in Toronto and it was directed by Hal Prince, the legendary Hal Prince. And he made a point to deliberately stage it so that he contrasted the racial disparities between the Black and white performers, having the Black performers doing the scene changes, cleaning up the messes, and doing a lot of other medial tasks. Now, when it was first performed here in Toronto, it caused a minor uproar, but these changes really was an effective way to highlight this racial contrast and was a huge hit on Broadway. And this song in particular was sung by the incredible Michelle Bell, leading the powerful Old Man River. Here's Michelle Bell and the company of Showboat.
Something, but don't say nothing. He just keeps rolling. He keeps on rolling along. He don't plant taters. He don't plant cotton. And him that plants 'em is soon forgotten. But Old Man River, he just keeps rolling along. Don't look up and don't look down. Get off that space, the white cross crown. Bend your knees and bow your head and pull and roll until you're dead. Let me go away from the Mississippi. Let me go away from the white man boss. Show me that stream called the River Jordan. That's the old stream that I long to cross. Old Man River, he must know something, but don't say nothing. He just keeps rolling. He keeps on rolling along. River forever keeps rolling on. Don't plant taters, he don't plant cotton, and then that last song is soon forgotten. But Old Man River, he just keeps rolling along. Old River, keep hearing that song. You and me, we sweat and strain, body all aching and racked with pain. Tow that barge, lift that bale, get a little drunk, and your land's in jail. Weary and sick of trying, I'm tired of living and scared of dying. But Old Man River, he just keeps rolling.
Such a powerful performance. Michelle Bell's artistry and his instrument, his voice, his command of the stage. No wonder he gets a standing ovation from that number. Incredible. All right, so far you may have realized that I haven't shared any performances from any winners of Best Musicals, and isn't that the most exciting award of the evening? Now, I struggled with which Best Musical to share because there are so many of them, but why single any one of them out? So, please, I am proud to present this retrospective of a history of Best Musicals.
Don't kiss me, Kate.
Cut your teeth.
Some enchanted evening.
When I think of the time.
1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3.
Hey there.
Hold on. That's you. Wouldn't it be lovely till there was you?
Put on a happy face.
I believe in a comedy tonight.
Hold my head up high.
If I were a rich man, be up the tin. The impossible dream.
Feel calm and bienvenue. I believe in fate. I believe. Look sharp. Outside. You can try personality. Nights later, so divine. Isn't it rich? But not for us to share. He's on down the road.
5, 6, 7, 8.
I know you tomorrow.
They gonna send me.
Yeah. Down by the sea. It's a monster, but he loves you.
Politics of guts and lots of glaring. Mighty water. How very glad we are to tell you all. One day more.
How often you do. And we'll embrace in that Shangri-La. Your love will live.
The painted seas.
Not dying from disease.
And hallelujah. About my way. We're together here. Love you, baby.
What went wrong?
With the love that you from her. And set me free.
But nobody can hear, so I'm...
Her voice would fill.
Whew, that's right, Colin. We do love a retrospective. That was an incredible project putting that all together for you. I had to research really, really hard to find all original casts of all those shows because the first couple of Tony Awards weren't aired online or on TV or anything. And footage from earlier than the mid-60s and back from there is very hard to come by. So it was a lot of fun and hope you enjoyed that little project. All right, so another guest. My next guest, I first met doing Peter Pan with Neptune Theatre during the holidays, and we quickly bonded over our love of musical theater and our love of throwing shade. Please welcome to the studio, Avery Jean Brennan.
Hey!
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you, Chris?
Fantastic, fantastic. What are you working on? What's going on with you?
Things are good. I'm surviving quarantine by digging as deep into art as I can. Running a little book club for some of my friends where we get together once a week and read plays over Zoom and get a little bit drunk. It's super fun. And that's also kind of bled into my work. I'm currently the social media coordinator for Bad Dog Comedy Theater. And I'm also hosting and producing a show there called Drink Along Table Read that we're airing on our YouTube channel on alternating Tuesdays. And then this coming Tuesday, so the 9th, I'm going to be hosting the launch party for Fatuma Adar's new music video, The Nap Anthem. on our Slumber Party talk show.
Amazing. I think you're one of the few people I know who's gotten maybe more busy during quarantine, if that's possible.
I stayed about as busy. It's just like with completely different things. Like I lost all of my projects that were supposed to be done live, and I'm like, okay, well, what can I do online for less money? And I'm doing it.
Why do you think I'm doing this? I put so much work and making no money.
It's like I'm just so bored. I'm just so bored. I want to talk to people. I want to do shows. And I mean, if no one's getting paid to do it right now, then I'd feel a little less bad just being like, well, here's my favorite things. Let's just do them and have a good time for everyone.
Absolutely. And one of my favorite things is the Tony Awards, and that's why I'm doing this. So we're talking Tony performances. What are your memories of the very first Tonys or past Tony performances you've watched?
I don't remember a lot of my first Tony Awards because I was a small child. But I would say last year's Tony Awards, actually, I remember very vividly because I attended for the first time Musical Stage Company's Tony Awards viewing party, where they take a sports bar in downtown Toronto and convert it into a musical theater bar. With like trivia and drinks and specialty food. It was so much fun. I was there with Clint Butler and Kira Renee, two of my closest friends who also work in musical theater. I got super dressed up, and I kept going up to staff at Musical Stage and asking them, like, so is there an award for best dress? To which they would tell me no. But like, I get it. Like, it would have been too obvious a winner, and it would have made so many other people feel terrible.
Right, of course.
To me. So.
Yeah, it's so wonderful getting to be a part of a community and watching the performances live and the awards. So that's wonderful.
So watching Hadestown's performance in a room full of people who are all about Canadian musical theater, and well, it doesn't come from Canada, knowing that Canada was a part of the workshopping of that show. It was just electric in that room, and I'll never forget that experience.
Absolutely. All right, now let's talk about what your favorite Tony Award performance is.
My favorite Tony Award performance is Patti LuPone, Gypsy Revival. It's just, especially because like she does like the entire scene before we start singing Everything's Coming Up Roses.
Absolutely.
Make sure like if you don't understand the goddamn context of this song and why it's actually horrifying and not the big celebration that so many people think that number actually is.
Yes.
They don't know the show particularly well, and they just like hear it at all the show tunes karaoke bars, and it's like, oh, what a lovely Everything's Coming Up Roses, and it's like, no, this moment's terrifying.
Right. Yeah, it's pain coming to a head, and then I love, because it's the scene beforehand, you get to see Laura Benanti and Boyd Gaines acting in the scene too, and that's half of the performance right there. Just them in the background and their reaction, seeing Rose lose it, and it's a powerful performance.
And like, I will watch Laura Benanti stand on stage saying nothing for years. Like, I love her. But Patti LuPone, it's just her voice on that role, her just like very pointed attacking of everything about it. And I even love like the wig styling of her wig under that hat with like the little curls sticking out. I was like, this is detailed. I love this.
It's beautiful.
It's my favorite revival of Gypsy. She's my favorite Rose.
Yeah.
And I mean that. And I have seen the Imelda Staunton Rose, who I also love. But
ooh, those are some strong. That's a strong stand.
Words. If anyone disagrees, like, come at me. I'll send you my address. You can fight me in person.
I'll post it on the scroll down here too, just to put it up for you. How about that?
Yeah, please.
Amazing. All right, thank you so much, Avery Jean, for joining me. And everyone, please enjoy Patti LuPone singing from Gypsy.
I'm used to people walking out. When my own mother did it, I cried for a week. Your father did it. And then the man I married after him did it, and now? Well, this time I'm not crying. This time I'm apologizing to you. I pushed you aside for her. I made everything just for her. Oh, no. But she says I can't make her an actress like she wants to be. The boys walk because they think the act is finished. They think we're nothing without her. Well, she's nothing without me. I'm her mother, and I made her, and I can make you now. And I will, my baby. I swear I will. I'm going to make you a star. I'm going to build a whole new act all around you. And it's going to be better than anything we ever did before, better than anything we even dreams.
Missy.
You're right, Herbie. It is for the best. The old act was getting stale and tired. But the new one, look at the new star, Herbie. She's gonna be beautiful. She is beautiful. Finished. We're just beginning. And there's no stopping us this time. I had a dream about you, baby. It's gonna come true, baby. They think that we're through, but baby, you'll be swell, you'll be great, gonna have the whole world on a plate. Starting here, starting now, honey, everything's coming up roses. Clear the decks, clear the tracks, you got nothing to do but relax. Blow a kiss, take a bow, honey, everything's coming up roses. Now's your inning, stand the world on its ear, steady, spinning, that'll be just the beginning. Curtain up, light the lights, you got nothing to hit but the heights. You'll be swell, you'll be great, I can tell, just to wait. That lucky star I talk about is dead. Honey, everything's coming up roses for me and for you. You can do it. All you need is a hand. We can do it. Mama is gonna see to it. Curtain up, light the lights. We got nothing to hit but the heights. I can tell, wait and see. There's the bell, follow me. And nothing's gonna stop us till we're through. Honey, everything's coming up roses and daffodils. Everything's coming up sunshine and Santa Claus. Everything's gonna be bright lights and lollipops. Everything's coming up roses for me and for you.
Woo! Now, how about that powerhouse performance? Yeah, if I had Pat LuPone belting in my face in the audience, I for sure wouldn't be answering my cell phone. That's for sure. All right, we are just about past over halfway through, about 2/3 through the my little production here tonight, and I just want to remind everyone that you can still donate to Black Lives Matter. Again, you can pay via PayPal or e-transfer to wearehereproductions@gmail.com. Again, a $10 suggestion is suggested. Donation is suggested, excuse me, but you can give as much as you want. Please, please do, please give. It is a very important cause. All right, so yes, we just touched on some Stephen Sondheim with Gypsy, and everyone knows that I love Sondheim, so can you blame me for wanting to cover another Sondheim show? So next up, we have a clip from West Side Story, which is the classic exploration of love overcoming despite racial tensions, inspired by Romeo and Juliet, and told through the Warring Sharks, who are a white gang, and Jets, who are a Puerto Rican gang. It is also one of the earlier portrayals of Latin and Hispanic people on Broadway. Now, this clip comes from the 1980 revival, which features the incredible Debbie Allen as Anita, who won the Drama Desk and was Tony nominated for feature actress for this role. So here is Debbie Allen and the ensemble from West Side Story.
Puerto Rico, you lovely island, island of tropical breezes. And the baby's crying. And the bullets flying. I like the island Manhattan.
We know you do.
On your pipe and put.
I like to be in America. Okay, but be in America. Everything free in America. For it's gonna be in America.
I'll drive everywhere through San Juan.
If there's a road you can drive on.
I'll give my cousin the free ride.
How you get all of them inside? If I goes to America, then he hellos in America. Nobody knows in America. Puerto Rico's in America.
When I will go back to San Juan.
When you will shut up and get gone.
Everyone there will give big cheers.
Everyone there will have moved here.
Stop it.
Everyone.
Unreal dancing. So clean, so precise, so intense. That is Debbie Allen in a nutshell. Amazing. All right, moving along. Recent years have seen an increase in diverse voices and stories on Broadway. And one of the most recent of those stories is The Band's Visit, which was the winner of Best Musical in 2018. That's right, I did have to return to one of the best musicals in that montage, and it had to be The Band's Visit. It's a powerful story of the fleeting connections as members of a police orchestra from Egypt are stranded overnight and interact with the Jewish locals in a small town in Israel. Now, we saw the show live in New York on Broadway, and it was absolutely amazing. It had such intimate storytelling, a moving story by David Yazbek, an incredible ensemble cast, and a hypnotic Tony-winning performance by the incredible Katrina Lenk. She just captured the show and the stage and everyone's in the audience's minds and hearts every time she was on stage. So here is Katrina Lenk performing Omar Sharif from The Band's Visit.
When I was a girl, we used to have here Arab music, Egyptian music on the radio and on TV, Egyptian movie, every Friday afternoon. These mysterious people I would never meet, but who came to me, to the speakers, to the screen. Kulthum and Omar Sharif came floating on a jasmine wind from the west, from the south, honey in my ear, spice in my mouth, dark and thrilling, strange and sweet, Cleopatra and the handsome thief, and they floated in on a jasmine wind, Kulthum and Omar Sharif, and they floated in on a jasmine wind, Kulthum and Omar Sharif. And the best movie was The River of Love, where they meet on the train and she is reading and he says,
A book is a loyal companion always.
You know it.
Oh, yes.
Friday evening, Omar Omar Sharif in black and white and blurry through tears. My mother and I would sit there in a trance. He was cool to the marrow, the pharaoh of romance. Sunday morning, Kulthum, her voice would fill our living room. The ship from Egypt always came sailing in on radio waves, and the jasmine wind deep perfume, Kulthum, and the living room becomes a garden, and the TV set becomes a fountain, and the music flows in the garden, and everything grows. Kulthum and Omar Sharif came floating on a lemon leaf, flying in on a jasmine wind. Kulthum and Omar Sharif, and we danced with them in a jasmine scented wind. Kulthum and Omar Sharif.
Just a haunting performance that takes your breath away. Just like in that clip just now, when we saw it on Broadway, after that number ended, there was a silence that settled over the audience, and then huge applause, just a huge response from us. It was so amazing. Watching that show made me really happy because being a person of color, being Filipino, Asian, I was really glad that there are more stories from diverse backgrounds being told. Now, from an Asian perspective, there's been a number of musical productions throughout theater history that have touched on Asian stories, including way back with Rodgers and Hammerstein with The King and I and Flower Drum Song, as well as Sondheim Pacific Overtures, and most recently with Allegiance. One of the more well-known of these Asian stories is the mega musical Miss Saigon, which originally opened in 1991 and made Filipina star Lea Salonga a household name. Now, she originally starred with the production when it had its world premiere on the West End, but when they were transferring it to Broadway, they actually had some problems bringing Lea Salonga with it because American Equity wanted them to hold casting calls in the US first. Now, they tried, and they made the case that they could not find anyone as good as Lea to do it, so they gave some leeway, and Lea performed the role and opened it on Broadway. Now, the original Tony performance for Miss Saigon on Broadway didn't really showcase Lea very well, but she did have her time to shine when they were awarding the lead actress in a musical. So here's that.
The nominees for Best Performance by a Leading Actress in a Musical are June Angela, Shogun the Musical; Dee Hoty, The Will Rogers Follies; Kathy Rigby, Peter Pan; Lea Salonga, Miss Saigon; and the Tony Award goes to Lea Salonga, Miss Saigon.
This can't be for real. I remember watching these on TV when I was a little girl in Manila, and this can't be real. I'd like to first of all thank God for all of his blessings. I'd also like to thank Actors Equity for for giving me the chance to come here to the United States. You guys have been so great. I'd like to also thank Cameron, Elaine, Claude Michel, Richard, Nick. You guys gave me the chance to do this role, and I thank you. I'd also like to thank my family, my mom up in the mezzanine, my brother down here in the orchestra. Hi, guys. You guys have been the most supportive. And to the entire cast and crew of Miss Saigon. You guys are the greatest people anybody could ever work with, and this also goes to everybody back home who dreams of winning a Tony. Well, I got one, and the dream can come true for someone else too. Thanks a lot. God bless.
Oh, what a sweetheart. Oh, as a fellow Filipino, so proud of her work and so proud of her career that has spanned so many years, decades even, and she's still working. It is incredible. All right, so my final guest of the evening is one of my closest and oldest friends way back since McMaster days, and we bond over all musical theater and yelling about things all the time. Please welcome to the studio, Andrea Pullman.
Hey, Chris.
Hey, how are you doing?
I do love screaming. That's true.
I know that. How are you? What have you been up to these past couple isolation whiles?
I'm good. I'm tired. I mean, we're all tired, I think. It has been a challenging couple weeks. The thing I'm most working on, honestly, is trying to amplify melanated voices on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, and also just kind of like being loud about what's going on in the city that I live in. So I live in Hamilton, and there's been a lot of issues in the past couple of years. So it's mostly just like making sure that people are informed. COVID has taken away some of my income generating activities. So I spend a lot of my time kind of educating myself about maybe what I want to do next, as well as, what we should be doing right now.
Absolutely, which is definitely a fight that we got to keep on fighting. All right, so we're talking about Tony Award performances.
I actually never watched the Tonys until we became friends, which is like kind of a weird thing to say. But
You're welcome.
Yeah. I feel like as a teen, I was kind of the pretentious type of drama kid who was like, I only like plays, and you really brought a love of musicals out in me. I think one of my favorite memories though was last year when you guys did a whole almost like a poll or whatever, where you're like, who do you think is going to win all these things? And some of them were still things I've never heard of. And I think that just goes to show that there's so much stuff out there that we're maybe not super aware of.
And the Tony Awards themselves are not just a representation of all the theater out there, right? It's a small segment of so much diverse productions and voices and artists. I'm glad to use this platform to share some of those voices now.
I think my favorite Tony performance was actually the Fun Home performance in 2015. So as you know, and as some of the people watching I'm sure do, I don't like children. I just have no interest in them. I know, shocking. No, but one of the things I really loved about the Fun Home performance is that it really showcased the girl who played Small Allison, Sydney Lucas, really well, while still having kind of a broader impact on kind of what the show is about. And I feel like that kind of coming of age and coming out story isn't told as emotionally or as well maybe as I want it to be. So it was one of those moments where I've never experienced that and I've never had to, and it really gave me a little bit of insight into what that's like.
I think it also traces back to having those actual diverse voices in the creative seat telling their personal story, and that's what makes the story itself so much richer, because it comes from a place of genuine and sincere feeling.
Absolutely. And the other thing I love about Fun Home, just kind of as a musical, is I've been obsessed with Michael Cerveris for a long time. I think that he is amazing. He is my favorite Sweeney Todd, obviously. There's a lot of other things that I love about him as a person, especially that he is so active in using his voice to represent diverse voices, especially online, and even before anything kind of got really loud about it. If you go back in his Facebook, it's just a regular profile that he just posts videos on, and he's just a lovely dude. And I also think it really speaks to his ability to be a good supporting actor when he's sitting on stage letting these women tell their story. That's such a big thing for me, and I think the musical itself is so beautifully crafted, and I love a a flashback moment, and that's like a lot of what it is.
Beth Malone as well in the background watching young Allison. It's a beautifully structured performance that pulls you in as opposed to blaring you with song and dance.
That's right. And something that I don't necessarily love about Tony performances in general is I tend to find that they pick the biggest number. Like they pick like the biggest, like castiest number. And I'm like, I get it. And I love that too for its own reasons. But I feel like the ones that really draw me in are usually like a 2 or 3 hander, sometimes a solo when you're looking at like Rose's Turn, for example. Ooh. But like when, but when you're like, when you really have like only 2 or 3 people on stage and they're able to still capture that, the whole energy of the whole show is so impressive to me.
Andrea, thank you so much for spending your time with me today. And everybody enjoy this performance from Fun Home.
In this panel, me and my dad in a diner.
Where's Betty?
She went home. Lorna's on now.
Caption: my dad and I both grew up in the same small Pennsylvania town.
Oh.
And I didn't know it, but both of us were gay.
Where's your beret?
And we were exactly alike.
Put it back in. Keeps the hair out of your eyes.
So what a crew cut.
And we were nothing alike.
Do not take it out again.
Which was it, Dad?
Get Lorna. Need coffee.
You didn't notice her at first, Dad, but I did. I saw her the minute she walked in. I'd never seen a woman who looked like her. It was like I was a traveler in a foreign country who runs into someone from home. Someone they've never met before, but somehow just recognizes.
Someone just came in the door, like no one I ever saw before. I feel. I don't know where you came from. I wish I did. I feel so dumb. I feel your swagger and your bearing and the just right clothes you're wearing, your short hair and your dungarees and your lace-up boots and your keys. Oh, your ring of keys. I thought it was supposed to be wrong, but you seem okay with being strong. I want. You're so. It's probably conceited to say, but I think we're alike in a certain way. Your swagger and your bearing and the just right clothes you're wearing, your short hair and your dungarees and your lace-up boots and your keys. Oh, your ring of keys. Do you feel my heart saying hi? In this whole luncheonette, why am I the only one who sees you're beautiful? No, I mean handsome. Your swagger and your bearing and the just right clothes you're wearing, your short hair and your dungarees and your lace-up boots and your keys. Oh, your ring of keys. I know you. I know you. I know you.
So powerful. That Sydney Lucas, an incredible performer Once again, amazing supporting performances from Michael Cerveris and Beth Malone. What a beautiful, beautiful number. Once again, please don't forget to donate to Black Lives Matter. Again, you can e-transfer or you can PayPal to wearehereproductions@gmail.com. A $10 donation is suggested, but please give as much as you can. We really want to raise a lot of money for this important, important cause. All right, moving right along, my next performance is also from some semi-recent years. It is from the revival of The Color Purple, which won Best Revival in 2016. All right, the original was nominated for Best Musical in 2006, and La Chance won for Best Actress. But we all know that Cynthia Erivo won for the revival, and we all know also that I love Cynthia Erivo so much. We got to see this show twice on Broadway as well, and Cynthia was amazing both times, but the entire cast was amazing. Such a strong ensemble, including the Tony-nominated Danielle Brooks, as well the original Shug, who we saw, Jennifer Hudson, and then who replaced her, Heather Headley, who we also got to see as Shug, doing an incredible return to Broadway after years of being away. And by the way, small tidbit, she won the Tony for Best Lead Actress when she started in Aida years in the past. But the show was all about Cynthia Erivo. She's a powerhouse, an amazing performer, totally committed, amazing voice, amazing actress. And that's what I think really is important to point out. Yes, she can sing amazingly, but it's all grounded by incredible acting and genuine feeling. So here is the revival of The Color Purple.
It's Sunday morning, so make a joyful noise. Joyful noise. Unto the joyful noise. Unto
Yeah, amen.
When the king threw Daniel in the lion's den,
The Lord works in mysterious ways.
God sent a mighty angel, brought him out.
Yes, the good Lord works in mysterious ways.
When God saw the wicked, he knew what to do. Said, Lord, bring the animals to back to. Said, I'm going to keep you both afloat.
Ugh, Cynthia, like, how dare you? How dare you be so good and honest and powerful with your performance? I'm mad that you're so good, and I hate you. No, I'm kidding. I love you. You're amazing. All right, so continuing with my revival streak, this next clip is from the 1994 revival of Damn Yankees, which follows a man making a deal with the devil himself to become a baseball giant. Now, in this revival, Victor Garber played the devil, and he got a Tony nomination. Jared Emick won the Tony for Best Leading Actor, and it was also a big standout for Rob Marshall's Tony-nominated choreography. Now, in this performance, you see this choreography happening, all being performed by the ensemble, as well as the amazing Vicki Lewis as Gloria. Here is the revival of Damn Yankees.
Ripped up, born in half. Like a manna from the heavens comes. Shoot us up from Hannibal. Go like a bat out of you know where. Go, shoot us
So good. Who doesn't love a bunch of guys dancing around in baseball uniforms, as well as a woman just belting her face off and being tossed around? That choreography by Rob Marshall is ridiculous. All right, we are getting really close to the end. We've got 2 more videos left for you. I hope you've been enjoying tonight. I wish I could have included way more, but I didn't want to make this night into 3-4 hours long, ending past midnight. I am considering maybe doing this again in the future, so if you think you would be interested in tuning into another stream of my favorite Tony performances and musical theater performances in general, leave a comment. Let me know if you would like that. Cool, that'd be great. Also, I want to push to keep donating. Keep donating to Black Lives Matter tonight. Again, you can PayPal or e-transfer to wearehereproductions@gmail.com. $10 donation suggestion, but you can donate as much as you can, as much as you want. Please, we really want to help out our friends and help them get the justice that they deserve. All right, so our second last number of the evening comes from the 1997 Best Musical nominee, The Life, which follows the diverse characters populating the underbelly of Times Square and 42nd Street in New York. Now, this show featured a stacked ensemble cast, which included the Tony-nominated Pamela Isaacs, Tony-nominated Sam Harris, and Tony winner Lillias White. Now, Lillias White is one of my favorite performers, and she's also been a feature in some of my favorite Tony performances, including the original Once on This Island, as well as the revival of How to Succeed with Matthew Broderick. But this number features Lillias, Pamela, and the non-stop ensemble girls in The Life.
$10. Used to buy a little timeshare with one of the ladies on 42nd Street. Of course, that was back in the good old, bad old days before they made the streets squeaky clean for Mickey Mouse. These chicks had more than meets the eye. They had attitude, lots of it, and they got it the old-fashioned way. They earned it. So bring on the girl!
business but my own. Nobody's business but my own. What if I'm a sinner? Hey, I ain't exactly alone. It's my body and my body. Nobody's business but my own. Nobody's business but my own. Nobody knows. All those uptown ladies look and dress so nice. They can sell it their way. Let me sell it mine. Maybe you don't like it, maybe you don't like it, but that's don't mean nothing because my body is my business. My business I know what I'm doing. I know who I am. If you got a problem, I don't give a damn. Ain't no doubt about it. Ain't no doubt about it. 'Cause baby, it's written in stone. It's my body, not your body. My body is my business. My business is my business. Nobody's business. Nobody's business. Nobody's
Oh, so good. Those incredible women just shaking it and giving 150%. I would have been giving them a standing ovation. What an incredible, incredible performance. All right, before I get to my last video of the night, I want to thank you all so much for watching me and following along and commenting. I really appreciate this. When I first had this idea come to my head, I was really excited. And then when I said in public that I was going to make it happen, I got super, super nervous because I've never done this kind of live stream vlogging before. I've always thought of wanted to do it. I've always wanted to use this as a platform to share my love of musical theater. And I'm really glad that I got to do this tonight and share with all these incredible people, all my friends, and especially do it for such an amazing cause. Again, when the world shifted recently, I knew that I had to do something to contribute to this, to stand with my Black friends, my Black peers, the Black community, and do some good, or try to do some good. And I really hope that this brought you a fun evening and it gave you some entertainment and gave you another way to contribute to the cause. I want to thank everyone watching. I want to thank all my guests, Michelle, Avery Jean, and Andrea. I want to thank Matt Laca and We Are Here Productions. I want to thank Robert Wilkinson. I want to thank my stage manager, Richard, my husband, my love, who is sitting right over there and has been working all this tech stuff and making this all seamless for you. It really means a lot. It means a lot to everybody. It means a lot to you guys. You mean a lot to me. Okay, so the final number is from Ain't Misbehavin', which is a musical review of Fats Waller and other Black Harlem Renaissance musicians, and was the 1978 winner for Best Musical. It was so incredibly popular that it was recorded for NBC to play on it, which I've seen in its entirety. It's such a good documented musical. And it was also revived a decade later with the exact same cast and the exact same production team, and it was just as much a hit as it was when it first premiered. The original cast, which you'll be seeing right now, included the incredible Nell Carter, Armelia McQueen, Ken Page, Charlene Woodard, as well as a young Andre DeShields, who won the Tony just last year for Best Featured Actor in a Musical for Hadestown. So you're going to see all of them sing and dance and do an amazing production. Again, thank you so much. Enjoy this final performance. Please donate to Black Lives Matter. Again, PayPal or e-transfer to wearehereproductions@gmail.com. Give as much as you can. I really, really want to help. Thank you all. Happy Tony Awards. Keep donating. Have a great night.
Hey, Cat! Yeah, man! Here's what we can do. Well, all right. There's an inn in Indiana with a very goodly clientele. I'm Junior J from the Boiler Wakes, who thought her singing swell. She'd a voice so sweet and low, I guess her dress was even lower still. Selling vocals to those yokels was her first important thrill. Important thrill. Should your career need a springboard, here is the best in the land. Rise and rejoice, for you don't need a voice. Join the ladies who sing with a band. Who's in the Hollywood spotlight? Who the producers demand? They're making muses of all the chanteuses, the ladies who sing with a band. Flat tone, wow, you never heard a singer with curves. You'll see a slim around your bandstand. If you've a tropical torso and your digestion is grand, you may do finer than Jenny or Dinah, the ladies who sing with a band.
From high atop the Waterford Hotel in downtown Cleveland,
Casanova Ballroom in Erie, Pennsylvania.
Here are the very lovely,
the very adorable,
the very talented,
the very gifted
Walla Girls.
In these scientific days, everyone's futuristic. So you'll find it always pays when you are modernistic. He's the dean that's got him guessing now, so cheese to take a lesson. Review your goodness knows, here's the way it goes. First hesitate, then syncopate, while on the offbeat you have to wait. That's all time. That's all time. Fooling all time. Work to the left, work to the right. Sway like you're on the tail of a kite. That's all time. That's all time. Play that bang and rhythm, mix it with some motion. Stir it up with cat. Get a sudden notion for a strut and step. Up on your heels, down on your toes. Don't want some more, just follow your nose. That's all time. That's all time. Here we go. Aha. We got it. Yay. Take it, Sally. Isn't she cute? Is that your little sister? No, it's your girl. I ain't got no little sister. Look, I don't care who she is. That's the opening on solo. I'll break her arm. Oh, God, you ain't got that. I'm up here, down on the coast. Don't want to go to stop. That's all time, all time, all time.
If you were tropical all time and you're not just in swag, you may do finer than Jenny or Dinah or Dolly or Janet or Helen or Rhonda. They don't need to know from a page or minor.
The ladies who sing with the band.
They gonna sing it, gonna sing it, sing, sail, jump and slide.
The ladies who sing with the
Oh, did somebody say encore? All right, if you wish. Okay, I really didn't plan for an encore to happen, but since we have some time, we have a little bit of time, we finished a bit earlier. Sure, I'll share another short clip. All right, this clip comes from oh my goodness, how long away? 1968, so a year before Promises, Promises, so this is way back in the archives. This is from a musical called Golden Rainbow, which follows a bunch of partiers and people attending a casino in Las Vegas. When you watch this number, remember it's from the 1960s. It's very old. It's a wild party. Well, not to quote a different musical, but it has the vibes of Promises, Promises, Turkey Lurkey, but wilder with a Las Vegas flair. It's a lot of fun. So here is the company of Golden Rainbow.
The town is ringing, moving, rocking, grooving, 20 more hours a day. A town of bears, losers, sinners, boogers, 20 more hours a day. You can feel it in the air, it's strong and sweet, you can hear it coming through. That's the beat that I like into the dream on, like the dream of a